Welcome to DSCJ Tele Classes, a digital initiative by Directorate of School Education, Jammu. Dear students, I am Mohinder Goswami. Today I am going to discuss with you a very beautiful topic, that is the Happy Prince. As we have already discussed its part 1 and today we will discuss its part 2. Hope you will definitely enjoy this. So let us begin this beautiful topic for the students of class 9th. At the end of today's lesson, students will be able to know the new words in the story. They will be able to understand the text of the story. They will be able to explain the complete summary of the story. Along with this, they will be able to understand the language work in the story and especially the phrase and its types. Moreover, students will be able to apply this new learning in their life and they will able to develop all kinds of skill. Dear students, we have already completed the part 1 of the story The Happy Prince, written by Oscar Wilde, and in part 1 we have discussed that there was a prince who was very happy when he was alive. He did not know what the tears were because he was lived in the palace where sorrow was not allowed to enter. But after his death, the courtier of his kingdom erected his big statue on a pedestal, in the middle of the city. Now, after the death, he would be able to see the ugliness and all the misery of his city. But he could not do anything because his feet were fastened with the pedestal. So one day a little swallow was passing through that city. He came in contact with that prince. The prince asked him to stay for one night with him. Dear students, the little swallow fulfilled all the desires of the prince. He acted upon the prince's command and helped the poor woman whose son was suffering with fever and wanted to eat oranges. But the poor woman had nothing to give him. The little swallow also helped the boy who was completing his play. When the little swallow completed all his tasks provided by the happy prince and wanted to go to Egypt because his friends had already gone there, the prince once again requested him to stay him for one more night. Let us find out why did the happy prince stop him going to Egypt even he had fulfilled his demand. So we will get all the answers in parts 2 of this beautiful story, The Happy Prince. So let's begin the part 2. Dear students, let us discuss the part 2 of this beautiful story. But before discussing, first we will discuss the new words in the story. The first word which will be maybe new to you, that is wither. What does this word mean? It means to fade or lose freshness, or you can say vitality. Okay, fine. Now there is another beautiful word in this story that may be new to you, that is dot. What does this word dot means? It means move quickly. Okay, fine. Now there is another word, that is gutter. What does the word gutter means? It means a channel or narrow area at the side of the street. Okay, fine. Another word which may be new to you, that is a furnace. What does this word furnace means? A container which is heated to a very high temperature. Okay, and in the end, the word which I am going to discuss with you may be new to you, that is overseer. What does this word overseer means? It means somebody who supervise workers, especially those engaged in manual labor. Okay, with this let us now discuss the text from the book.
In the square below there stands a little match girl. She has let her matches fall in the gutter and they are all spoiled. Her father will beat her if she does not bring home some money, and she is crying.
Dear student, these lines were spoken by the happy prince to the little swallow. In these lines, he said that in the square below there stood a little match girl who was very poor and had let her matches box fell into the gutter, and they were completely spoiled now. Her father would beat her if she did not bring money home, and so he was crying.
She has no shoes or the stocking, and her little head is bare. Pluck out my other eye and give it to her, and her father will not beat her.
Dear students, in these lines, the happy prince further added that even she had not shoes and stocking. You know what does the word stocking here means? It means a garment that fits closely over the foot, and her little head was bare, which means not clothed or covered. The happy prince further ordered the little swallow to pluck her other eye and give that to the little girl so that her father would not.
I will stay with you one night longer, but I cannot pluck your eye. You would be quite blind then.
Dear students, these were the lines spoken by the little swallow to the happy prince. In these lines, he told him that he would stay with him for one night more, but he could not pluck out his eye as he would be quite blind without the eyes.
Swallow, swallow, little swallow, do as I command you.
Dear students, in these lines, the happy prince commanded to the little swallow to pluck his other eye and give that to the little girl. He asked him do whatever he commanded. So he plucked out the prince another eye and darted down with it. He swooped past the match girl and slipped the jewel into the palm of her hand.
What a lovely bit of glass.
You know, students, when the little girl saw the piece of glass, she exclaimed with joy that what a lovely glass it was. She ran home laughing.
You are blind now, so I will stay with you always.
Dear students, you know, after plucking both the eyes from the body of the happy prince, the little swallow told him that he was blind now, so he would stay always with him.
No, little swallow, you must go away to Egypt.
No, I will stay with you always.
Dear students, after plucking the eyes from the body of the happy prince, the little swallow told him that he was blind, so he would stay always with him. By saying these words to the happy prince, the little swallow swept at his feet. All the next day, he sat on the happy prince's shoulder and told him stories what he had seen in the strange lands.
Dear little swallow, you tell me of marvelous things, but more marvelous than anything is the suffering of men and women. There is no mystery so great as misery. Fly over my city, little swallow, and tell me what you see there.
Dear students, after plucking the eyes from the body of the happy prince, happy prince became blind. Now he could not see anything. He asked the little swallow and praised him that he told him marvelous things. The happy prince further added that the more marvelous things in this world were the suffering of men and women. He asked Happy Prince to fly over his city and told him what he saw there. So, students, the little swallow flew over the great city and saw the rich making merry in their beautiful houses while the beggars were sitting at the gates. He flew in the dark lanes and saw the white faces of starving children looking out listlessly at the black streets. Under the bridge, two boys were lying in each other's arms and tried to keep themselves warm. They were very hungry. Then there came the watchman who shouted on them. They must not lie there, he asked them. They wandered out into the rain. Then he flew, then the little swallow flew back and told the happy prince what he had seen.
I am covered with fine gold. You must take it off leaf by leaf and give it to the poor, the living. Always think that gold can make them happy.
Dear students, these were the lines spoken by the happy prince to the little swallow. In these lines, he told that he was covered with fine gold. He ordered the little swallow to take it off leaf by leaf and gave the poor and the needy people. The poor people always thought that gold could make them happy. Leaf after leaf of fine gold the swallow picked off, till the happy prince looked quite dull and grey. Leaf after leaf of the fine gold brought to the poor, and the children's faces grew rosier, and they laughed and played in the street. We have bread now, they cried. Then the snow came, and after the snow came the frost. The streets looked as if they were made of silver. Everybody went about in fur, and the little boys wore scarlet caps and skated on the lea. Dear friends, when the little swallow took the gold from the body of the happy prince, there came snow and frost. All the streets looked as if they were made up of silver because they were covered under the snow. Everybody went about in fur, and there were little boys who wore scarlet caps and skated on the lea. You know, students, what does the word lea means here? It means the sheltered side of something away from the wind. The poor little swallow grew colder and colder, but he would not leave the prince. He loved him too well. He picked up crumbs outside the baker's door when the baker was not looking and tried to keep himself warm by flapping his wings. But at last he knew that he was going to die. He had just enough strength to fly up to the prince's shoulder once more.
Goodbye, dear prince. Will you let me kiss your hand?
I am glad that you are going to Egypt at last. Little swallow, you have stayed too long here, but you must kiss me on the lips, for I love you.
It is not to Egypt that I am going. I am going to the house of death. You know, death is the brother of sleep. Is he not?
Dear students, after saying these words and after kissing the happy prince, the little swallow fell down dead at his feet. At that moment, a curious sound inside the statue, as it had something broken. The fact is that the leaden heart had snapped right into two. It's certainly a dreadfully hard frost. Early the next morning, the mayor was walking in the square below in the company with the town councillor. As they passed the column, he looked up at the statue. Dear me, how shabby the happy prince looks, he said. The ruby has fallen out of his sword, his eyes are gone, and he is golden no longer, said the mayor. In fact, he is little better than a beggar. Dear students, the next morning, when the town mayor, along with his town councillor, passed through the Happy Prince, they saw the Happy Prince statue as very shabby. The mayor told the councillors that Ruby from the sword of the Happy Prince had fallen. His eyes were gone, even he was no longer golden now. In fact, according to him, he was looking little better than a beggar. And here is actually a dead bird at his feet, continued the mayor. We must really issue a proclamation that birds are not to be allowed to die here. And the town clerk made a note of the suggestion. So they pulled down the statue of the Happy Prince. As he is no longer beautiful, he is no longer useful, said the art professor at the university. Then they melted the statue in a furnace. What a strange thing, said the overseer of the workmen at the foundry. This broken lead heart will not melt in the furnace. We must throw it away. So they threw it on a dust heap where the dead swallow was also lying. Bring me the two most precious things in the city, said God to one of his angels. And the angel brought him the leaden heart and the dead bird. You have rightly chosen, said God, for in my garden of paradise this little word shall sing. Dear students, we have completed the text of the story, and now let us discuss the brief summary of the story. Dear students, the Happy Prince was a beautiful statue on a tall column in the city. He was glided all over with thin leaves of fine gold. He had sapphire for eyes and a ruby on his sword hilt. One night there flew over the city a little swallow. His friends had gone away to Egypt. All day long he flew, and at night time he arrived in the city. He alighted just between the feet of the statue of the Happy Prince. When he was trying to sleep, a few drops of water fell on him. But to his surprise, he didn't find a single cloud in the sky. Then he noticed that the statue of Happy Prince was weeping. Happy Prince told the swallow that in a house there was a poor seamstress having needle marks on her hands. Her little son was lying ill and she had no money to buy food or other thing for her son. So the prince requested the swallow to bring out the ruby of his sword hilt so that the poor woman could bring oranges for her son. After putting the ruby on the table and fanning its wings on boy's forehead, it came back to the prince. The next day the swallow wanted to go to his friends, but prince requested it to stay with him that night. In the night the prince told the swallow that there was a young man in a garret. He was trying to finish a play for the director of the theatre, but he was too cold to write any more, as there was no fire in the grate, and hunger had made him faint. Now the prince ordered the swallow to pluck out one sapphire from his eye and give it to him. The swallow did the same. The next night the prince told him to take away the second sapphire to help a poor match girl. Thus the prince had become blind, so the swallow decided to stay with the prince forever. Now the prince ordered the swallow to fly over the city and tell him what it found there. Then the prince told the swallow to take off the golden leaves one by one for the poor. Now after taking off all the golden leaves, the prince looked very dull and grey, but the children's faces grew rosier as they were happy. Because of too much cold, the swallow died after kissing the prince. The leaden heart of prince broke into two pieces. After some days, the mayor of the city ordered the statue to be pulled down and melted in a furnace. But the leaden heart of the prince didn't melt, so it was thrown in a dust heap where the dead swallow was also lying. God sent his angel to bring him the two most precious things from the city, and he took the dead swallow and the leaden heart of the happy prince. God appreciated the choice and told him that these two things were fit for the paradise. Now, students, let us discuss the language work. And in language work, we will discuss today phrase. What is phrase and what are its various types? Now, let us discuss about the phrase. You know what is phrase? The group of two or more words functioning as a meaningful unit within a sentence or clause is called phrase. You know, students, when we talk about the term phrase, it consists of two or more words. That means they are not a single word, they are two or more words unit, and this unit works within a sentence, or you can say it may work in within a clause, and that's why when these two words combine together, they will form such kind of words that are known as phrase. Now, students, let's talk about the type of phrase. You know, here we have a different type of phrase like noun phrase, verb phrase, gerund phrase, infinitive phrase, and we have another type, that is prepositional phrase. But when we talk about noun phrase, so here the main focus is on the word noun, and when we talk about the verb phrase, so here the main focus is on the word verb. And when we talk about gerund phrase, so here the main focus is around gerund word. And in case of infinitive, there is 2 plus base form of verb. And when we talk about the prepositional phrase, so here the main word, or you can say the main focal word is that is a preposition. So when all these types of phrases come in a sentence, they give a meaningful unit. Now, students, let us talk about the first phrase, that is noun phrase. You know, in noun phrase, we will discuss this with an example. The little girl wants to play here. You know, in this example, the little girl is a noun phrase. You know, just see that the little girl here acts as a subject, and it is formed of three main words, that is the, little, and girl, but the main focus is on the word girl. So here these three words combine together and give a meaningful unit, and that's why this is known as noun phrase. Now, students, let us take another example. You just see this example. The sharp pencil is lying on the table, and the word which are encircled, the sharp pencil. You know, here the sharp pencil act as a subject, and here the main focus is on the word pencil. And you know, this pencil word is a noun, and so the whole unit you can say is a noun phrase, and it give a meaningful unit, become a meaningful unit when they combine together and act as a subject. Okay, students, fine. Now, students, let us talk about another type of phrase, that is verb phrase, and we will discuss this with an example. The teacher is writing a report. You just see in this example, is writing. You know, is writing is a verb phrase, because here the main focus is on the word writing, that is verb, and that's why both these word is and writing combine together and make a meaningful unit, and this meaningful unit is just, we can say, is a verb phrase. Now, students, let us talk about the another type of phrase, that is gerund phrase. We will discuss this with an example, but before discussing it with an example, let us first clear what is gerund. You know, gerund is also just like the verb form which function as a noun. You know, we have so many form of verb. If any word contain ing form, it can be a verb, but if it act as a if it acts as a noun, or you can say if it act as a subject, so this is called gerund. Okay, fine. Now let us take this with an example. Now students, let us take an example. Smoking is injurious to health. You just see the word smoking. You know the word smoking can also be a verb with ing form, but here this smoking word act as a noun, and here it act as a subject. And if any word which has ing form act as a noun, or you can say act as a subject, then you can say it is gerund. And such phrases or such sentences which is formed with the help of gerund, they can be called gerund phrase. Now students, let us talk about the infinitive phrase. You know, infinitive is just a 2 plus base form of verb. If we have a 2 plus base form of verb, we can say infinitive. And when such sentence, in any sentence or in any phrase, we found these structure together, 2 plus base form of verb, so we can say infinitive phrase. Let us discuss this with an example. Now students, just look at this example. She wanted to play here. Here in this simple sentence, you know, the structure 2 plus play is a infinitive phrase. You know, this structure 2 plus base form of verb is a infinitive phrase. Whenever we find any kind of any such structure anywhere, you can say these are infinitive phrase, and they make a meaningful unit. Now students, let us talk about the prepositional phrase. You know, when we talk about prepositional phrase, here the main focus is on the word preposition, and we will discuss this with an example. There is a snake in front of my house. You just see in this example the word in front of. You know, the word in front of is formed by two prepositions, that is in and of. You know, such kind of unit which is formed by two or more words but containing preposition, they are known as phrasal preposition. Now students, let us discuss some more example of prepositional phrase. We will take this example with the word bring. You know, by the word bring we can make so many prepositional phrases like bring up, bring out, bring forth. You know, when we talk about these words separately, they have a different meaning. Just take an example of the word bring up. You know, bring has a different meaning and up has a different meaning, but when they combine together, they make a meaningful unit. And you know, what does bring up word means in when we talk about together? So it means publish. So let us make a sentence on it. The new edition of this book has been brought out recently. In the similar manner, we have the word bring out. You know, bring out means look after. So we can make a sentence like this: it is a duty of parents to bring up their children. And in the similar manner, the next word is bring forth, which means to produce something. Now you try it and make a sentence on it. Dear students, now we have completed this beautiful topic, and now it's time to think about the test, what we have learned. And for this I am going to provide you some of the questions, and you have to give me on. The first question that I am going to ask you is the word gutter means. We have studied this in the story, and you have to tell the meaning of this particular word. And another question which I am going to ask you, what does the word dot mean? We have also studied this word. Now the question number third, what does the phrase bring up mean? You know, we have studied about this, and you have to write down the meaning and also make a sentence on it. Another question, what do you mean by the term phrase? You just write down the definition in your notebook, and what will be the definition of the word phrase. Okay, fine. Now students, come to the next question, that is, why did the swallow not leave the prince and go to Egypt? You have to write down the answer of this question in detail. Another question which I am going to ask you, what proclamation does the mayor make about the death of the words? And you also write these questions in your notebook and try to find out the answer. With these students, we have completed this beautiful story. Hope you have enjoyed it. Now I would like to request you to just open your textbook and go the story once again. With this, thanks a lot.